The next skill we're going to work on is making connections. Now that you have some idea about how we might generate the facts and think about the context in which we view those facts, we are now going to try to do something with them. So we are going to use historical reasoning processes to analyze patterns and connections between and among historical developments and processes. There are three major ways that we do this in this class. We look at comparison, we look at causation, and we look at continuity and change. I've given you a slide from the College Board's guidance on the historical reasoning processes that we're looking at through here, comparison, causation, and continuity and change. And comparison is probably the one that you're the most familiar with, right? Compare and contrast. How are events similar or different? What are the relevant similarities and differences? And then explain sort of why those might be significant. Causation is really cause and effect, being able to identify the causes of a historical event and the impacts of that historical event. Being able to explain both primary causes, meaning like the immediate causes, as well as maybe secondary causes for historical events and short and long-term impacts. The final one is looking at continuity and change, and this is the one that you probably have the least amount of experience with. And this is looking at larger historical patterns and trying to figure out why some things remain constant, why some historical patterns are resistant to change, and then identifying causes of change over time. In class, I'm asking that you share some of your stories from the first step of your personal history assignment, and that you engage in some of these connections with the stories you hear from your classmate. You could consider comparisons, so trying to think about how your experiences might be similar or different to the experiences of your classmate, how they might affect how you relate to that person. Thinking about causation, so what were the causes and effects of your classmates' stories? Looking at primary and secondary causes, short and long-term impacts of the event that they described to you. Thinking about how context might have impacted the causation or the effects of that particular historical event for them. Thinking about the significance of that event in their life. And then looking at continuity and change. So thinking about maybe patterns that you see where your classmate showed something that was constant, both during and after the event. Looking at maybe how an event changed them, or understanding what the significance of this change or continuity might mean to the person and your understanding of them.